we were just talking about Vanderpump Rules because it's the greatest reality show ever written. Wait, written? It's not really written.
It's probably written.
It's kind of written.
Incredibly scripted.
What are your other favorite Bravo TV shows?
I'm a big Southern Charm guy.
Ooh.
I really enjoyed Southern Charm.
What is Southern Charm?
Southern Charm?
Vanderpump Rules.
Because I feel like
South
I'm
Carolina.
kind of
Pretty
new.
much.
I love reality TV, but I'm kind of new to Bravo. I only really watched Below Deck.
Oh,
before
good. Then you're right where I was 3 years ago. You've got plenty of time.
It feels like Vanderpump Rules, all of the characters are kind of the same. Like they have the same kind of background. They all work at that restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Southern Charm includes a cast member named Thomas Ravenel, who was like the state of Louisiana treasurer and embezzled or some shit.
Oh, yeah. These guys are so such Bravo material.
But these people come from like old Southern money.
They're rich as fuck. They don't need jobs. They don't have to do anything unless you're Craig. Now, Craig was going out.
That's true. Craig is so dumb.
He's such an eager beaver. He was
I
going
say he's
out
dumb.
with.
He's very sweet.
He is. He's as nice as they get until he breaks up with what's her face.
And then he tries sewing.
She's on Summer House.
Okay, wait. Pause. You know how Vanderpump Rules, the whole concept is that they work at SUR together. Is there a concept of this?
No,
show?
they just hang out
Southern
in
Charm?
They just get drunk in downtown
No,
Charleston
the concept
together.
is they're all the favorites of this rich mom lady. Who's she?
Southern Charm?
Yes, she's the really rich lady that hosts them all the time.
Oh, she's Whitney's mom.
Whitney's
It's their
mom.
It's their Lisa.
It's their Lisa Vanderpump.
Yeah, and Whitney is one of the producers on the show. So everything.
So it's like basically Whitney's group of friends.
Yeah, and Whitney's like 50-something years old, and he hangs out with a bunch
Whitney,
of 20-some.
what is his deal?
So weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a great one.
I like
That's
Southern
just
Charm.
147 episodes. Perfect. I've got another.
Yeah,
thing to
but then
dive
there's
into.
also Southern Charm,
And it is literally
Georgia,
so
Savannah,
bad.
Georgia. There's two.
Oh,
But
the
you
Georgia
should,
one's bad?
just for fun, you should look up the Thomas Ravenel campaign video because they made a campaign video. He was running for something. Was it governor of Louisiana? And they made a campaign video, and it's horrible. And while it's all going on, he gets one of the group pregnant. They're trying to.
Oh
he's in his
my
50s, and
gosh.
she's
like gone to a mental hospital after being abused by this
Yeah,
man.
man.
She has 2 babies and doesn't get to see them.
She's up to 2.
I don't know.
That is just classic Bravo.
So that one's really good. But then they intertwine in Summer House and Winter House with Vanderpump cast
I
and
don't
Southern
even-
Summer
Charm
House
cast.
and Winter House.
Winter House is like the Minnesotan pod. It's like a one-off. It happens
okay.
every
Okay.
it's like a short series that happens once every
Well,
other
what
year.
about the fall house and the spring house?
They haven't gotten to those, but the Winter House will happen in Vail or Aspen.
It's
God.
they're going on vacation and
They'll
film
grab
one
3 or 4
episode.
cast members from each show.
Hey, how do you guys want to go to Vail, get drunk, and make out with a couple of people,
Yes.
and we'll make a show about it?
Jake has no interest in reality television.
I'm shocked. The one time I met Jake, the 2 times I've met Jake, I'm shocked that he wants
But I
nothing
think
to do
it's
with
so
reality.
But
funny.
wait, you say that you come home and give Jake the deets all the time of the stuff. For example, the text message screenshot I sent you. Jake's gonna
but
eat
he
that
doesn't
up.
care.
Okay.
I think it's funny, and I'll be watching Vanderpump Rules, and he'll walk in and just stand and watch a minute of it, and he's and I'll tell him updates he just cheated on his girlfriend of 9 years,
And Jake goes, wow.
and he's like, oh my god, why do
These
you
are horrible
watch this?
humans.
And I'm like, because it's so funny.
And I can see you on your couch with a bowl of popcorn wrapped in a cushy blanket, just
pretty much
with your laptop.
Hammering.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of the time I'm working. I just love noise in the background, and
Okay.
Vanderpump Rules is the perfect show because it has so many episodes.
Stassi,
And
are
you
you going to bus those tables?
She wasn't
Are
a
you
busser,
Lisa
dude. She was
Vanderpump?
not a busser. She was a host.
Whatever. I just love the way Lisa says Stassi.
I love
Okay,
the way Lisa
Tom.
says everything.
But I feel like you
Home.
guys I think that Summer House is getting really undervalued here. Yes, Vanderpump Rules is the gateway to Bravo shows, but once you really get in, Summer House is where they currently Summer House is where it's all happening. And
Summer House is the critics' favorite.
I gotta watch that.
I want to give a little bit of shine to the show that got me hooked on crappy reality television. Real quick.
Let's go back
Is this The Hills or is this?
Back to the beginning.
What the heck is that?
Is it OC or is this
Close.
not The Hills but what's
90210?
no. What is it? I'm dying because that was also my favorite show of all
Hillary
time.
Duff?
No,
Why does it sound like Hillary Duff?
It is Hillary
Oh,
Duff.
okay, I was like,
this is what is this?
we're gonna get.
Lauren Conrad.
What's the name of
my
that town?
gosh.
Laguna Beach.
Laguna Beach.
That was like my #1 travel destination.
I'm
like
gonna have to mute that
priority
because
for
we're
long.
gonna get marked on our.
The song
usage
the song is "Come Clean" by Hillary Duff, and I found it on YouTube.
and we paid her $50.
We paid her for this.
She doesn't need to get paid.
We paid Hillary Duff.
There's no way around. I'm top of the mount. I'm queen of the mountain. My cup running over. I already told ya. I'm moving fast. You live in the past.
Man, we got a little work to do in the new studio.
We've got some work to do in the new studio. I don't know where my dogwood coffee cup is. I think it got
I packed them.
up.
They're in the kitchen.
They're in the kitchen.
I packed them safely, or did I bring them home? No, I packed them safely so that they could get in the dishwasher. They needed
We
washing.
have
No,
a
they didn't. They didn't need
dishwasher
washing.
now. I know that one. There was one cup that was sitting on someone's desk where I was like, "Geez."
Yeah, that was on my desk.
This
That
whole
was,
moving thing has got us all
well, yeah,
shook up.
definitely.
Good thing is on these cameras you can't see all our cords.
Yeah, if you could see all of our cords, you
You'd
would realize
be-
that
We're in like a booby trap situation. Like
yeah,
if
you
you
can't
get
out.
up,
If there's a fire in this building,
you might die.
we're not getting out.
We're
Okay.
not, we're not getting out alive.
Since the dogwood hat wasn't enough, we now have our cups. And we can represent
Okay.
our sole sponsor.
and we have to hold our
Dogwood Coffee.
microphones.
Why are we talking about dying?
Oh, because I said at least on the cameras you can't see the cords because like we would all, if there was a fire right now.
We wouldn't be able to get out.
If there was a fire and I died in Edina,
We're in Bloomington.
are we?
Yeah.
We're so close to Minnesota Made.
Well,
I always think that we're in Edina.
We have the same zip code as
It
Edina.
definitely feels like Edina.
It's giving me Edina vibes.
It's
yes.
giving me Edina.
Yeah.
It's giving you Edina vibes because there's like functional carpet and climate control.
No, I feel like the area kind of gives me Edina vibes.
Well, we're near my favorite taco shop,
What is it?
Taco Libre.
Wait,
Ooh,
really?
I love Taco Libre.
Oh, do you remember that fun time at the Beauty League when you got us all Taco Libre?
Except for Kayla.
And
Her face.
Oh yeah, that was one time I was forgotten.
No,
You
the
were
one
forgotten?
time.
That was probably the
That
third.
was the
Oh,
fifth time
no.
Kayla's food got messed up.
I do love Taco Libre though.
1 or 2 were because I forgot. 2 or 3
No,
of them.
one was
2 or 3 of
because
them were because the other people fucked
I
up.
was gonna say one of them was because Ben List said I looked for you, and I was like, because I'm doing
Try-
my job.
try texting.
Like I'm literally in one of the 3 arenas.
Try texting
Just
or
page-
looking in the corner.
Just page me.
There's many,
He
many
did
ways
text me to be
get my
fair,
order.
but I'm
Okay.
also working. I'm not looking at my phone.
Not thinking about ordering.
So-
Was that the day that we accidentally ordered Jersey Mike's and everybody
No.
got like the monster sandwich?
Oh,
yes,
that was the
it
best
was.
day.
It was because I
That was
didn't
the
get a-
last day Ben
Luckily-
List ever ordered lunch.
Luckily, we got the monster sandwiches because I could eat half of someone else's because they didn't.
That's
couldn't
right.
eat it all.
The $29 sandwiches were
just-
too big for
Humongous.
everybody's stomach.
Just to even it out, because Ben List screwed up on a lunch order, I will even it out by saying Tony and I went to Chicago once. This was years ago, and I accidentally booked our hotel for the wrong days, so he had to haggle with the front desk. They had space for us; it wasn't that big of a deal.
Oh my
But I
gosh.
accidentally booked, is it like 3 nights or something at a Best Western on the wrong week, and I had to really awkwardly tell Tony we just drove 7 hours, and I
Oh
booked our
my
hotels
gosh.
incorrectly.
We have nowhere to stay.
So good luck.
Good luck.
I'm going to sit in the lobby while you talk to this front desk person and try to get us in for the night.
Oh,
Really
God.
So now that the teeter-totter has been balanced, ladies, we have not done a pod for a month.
I was gonna say, when's the last time?
We've been up to so much cool stuff.
So much. My
So
life is
much
just so
cool
interesting.
stuff.
You guys won't even
Okay.
understand.
To put it into perspective, I actually think
Yeah,
what
what-
Kayla's been up to is cool as can be.
because I'm basically a hockey star now.
Well, besides that, no,
Superstar.
you're like Sherlock Holmes now. Ever since your jury duty.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you had jury duty.
Okay, can we be honest? That's the main reason we didn't record for a month.
I forgot about that.
I also forgot
I
about
stopped
that.
thinking about it.
I'm not kidding. That put a wrench in my life.
Well, that's
Oh
the
yeah,
main
because you actually
reason
got
why.
picked.
It was 2 full weeks of
Yeah.
full 8-hour days.
Yep.
And it was like so emotionally draining and mentally draining. Like you feel like you're in an intense school. But like in school you're just like learning stuff. This is like some like people's lives on the line. Like it was so intense. I was going to bed at like 8 p.m.
Oh my God. I texted Kayla that week. I didn't hear from her. I was so worried about you. I knew you were on a case and I thought it was a murder. And I was like, what, jealous?
Yeah.
I've always wanted
It's
jury
so
duty.
funny. No, I wanted it as well. And then once I got on it, I was like, okay, I feel like if you were on a less intense case, it was very interesting. And like I valued my time, but it was so emotional that I was like, wow, okay. Maybe if you got on like a case where it's about like
Grand
someone stealing
Theft
something.
Auto.
Yeah,
or
like
something.
stealing something or like.
Maybe that would be fine.
Yeah.
Or a little bit more.
But
able to
actual
handle.
murder?
It wasn't actual murder.
It wasn't.
Okay, good.
Okay, well, that's what I've been telling myself.
I'm so
Something, in my opinion, that's worse for your
Yes.
emotion.
Yeah, sure. You live in this case and you have to live with
can-
it. Got
you
it.
can draw your own conclusions. I'm not going to say it out loud.
yeah. Please don't say it out loud.
Okay.
Very very happy that you were able to participate
Okay,
in
you
one of
do your due diligence as a citizen.
yeah. It's
Yep.
my humble opinion is that being on a jury and the United States is
Very.
hopeful due process is one of the things that separates it from so much
It
of the
was
rest of the
very
world.
like refreshing to actually see the process because I feel like it's really fair to both sides and it's like very intense. Like they take it really seriously.
There's a rigorous process before the jury
Yeah.
is even selected to
Yeah.
try and root out as much bias.
That's how
as
I knew
possible.
Kayla was getting picked right away. When Kayla is the perfect juror.
She's the most neutral human.
Yes.
I was one of 2 women on this jury, and when we went into the deliberation,
yeah, they
it
wouldn't
was
have wanted
6 to
women.
6.
Oh
Really?
no.
So like it was a really hard case, and the coolest part I actually thought was that you actually get to talk to the judge after. Like if you wait
Interesting.
in the jury room, the judge comes back and you can talk to her and ask her questions. And we were asking about the case, and she can't give her opinion, but she said this is one of the hardest cases I've ever been a part of, and I'm like, I don't. Because they can actually choose to forego a jury and have the judge be the jury.
That's what they're doing in Canada right now.
Oh.
I think it. So never mind. Continue. We'll maybe we won't touch on that case.
But I thought it was super interesting because I was like, oh, I didn't know. Because she could have had to be the jury for that, and she has to make the decision on her own then. And she's like, I'm really glad I wasn't the jury. So
Thanks for doing your job, guys.
it was very interesting. I really liked all my jury people too. Like all the people I was on my jury with, they were super cool people.
Do you think you'll be lifelong friends? Do you guys think you'll write a book?
No, nope. I don't think I'll ever talk to them again.
Okay. Do you think that you won't?
Jury duty
you're
alumni?
hoping you hoping you don't.
No, I would genuinely like to talk to some of them again, but I feel like no one's trying to make friends. You're all kind of just there.
Yeah.
You don't
It's a
hey,
job.
can I have your phone number? My buddy, his name was Faisal, and he was from Morocco, and he just would not. It was the funniest things. He's lived here for 20 years, and he literally told me. I told him about my job. He literally told me, I think there's a professional hockey team here. It's like the Minnesota Wild.
Nothing gets by you.
He also mentioned baseball, and
He's just
said,
letting you know about
he
it.
also couldn't think of the word for baseball, and he said that sport with dirt and grass.
The sport with dirt and grass.
He was very entertaining. He's an entertaining
What if he
person.
listens to this?
He's not going to. I don't think he can. I don't think he goes online.
Okay.
He's very. He had brought his briefcase every day. He's very interesting. I know what he eats for lunch. That's how. I know what he eats for every meal of the day. That's how much he told me about his life.
Yikes. You are also. I just ate the microphone. You are also learning to play hockey.
I am.
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh.
Jossie's a very good coach. She is. I'm being serious. She's
I'm
very
like, oh, you're just trying to make me feel good because of the time I told you about people bullying me.
Oh, you're trying to tell me that Grimace is a good hockey coach?
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Joey Means.
You are a good hockey coach. I feel like you're very patient, and also like I feel like when people fall in this, also it's because it's all women too. It's all like super supportive. Like we clap for each
Lots of
other when we
clapping.
get up.
I can't remember that ever.
If somebody
happening.
if somebody starts a drill, the line claps.
Yeah. If
It's amazing.
someone like does well, it's like
Yay!
you did it. Someone told me I was like had a really good shot, and I was like,
That is so sweet.
thank you, but you're wrong.
Are you just walking on air after that compliment?
Yeah, I was. I was like, wow, okay.
I've thoroughly enjoyed following your journey via social media.
I know if I weren't the VP of development on the board and the lead of this clinic, I would spend all of my time videoing these girls and interviewing these girls. But
Yeah, it's fun.
I am so swamped. I haven't even been able to like
Shout
get
out
the good
to Sam.
stuff.
Shout
Yeah,
out
thank
Sam.
God for
Sam's
Sam.
giving us some on ice action. She's getting my falls.
Well, we love our WHAM clinics. Yesterday I sent an email to the group asking who wanted to be assessed in the event that they'd want to join WHAM this fall or maybe play in a summer fall league for Women's Hockey Finder or whatever. And like millions of
Everyone
responses.
responds.
Yeah, like all
That's
these
great.
women are going to go off and play hockey in the wild after this. And it's like so
Yeah.
exciting. And that's why tonight I think we're going to focus heavily on getting Kayla to stop.
Just me.
Is that the one area where
I
you're
am
still
so-
kind of?
She says it's just 0.
Yeah, I just don't I was talking to my dad about it, and he's like it's really hard. You have to be going a little bit faster. You have to like commit to it.
You have to trust yourself.
Yeah, and I'm
Well,
just
like,
not there.
yeah, you feel like you're going to break your ankles
Yeah.
if you don't quite.
I mostly feel like I'm gonna topple over.
And that
Like,
would
I
be
feel like-
fine if you did.
I have fallen twice, and it didn't hurt.
Yeah,
so.
I always try to encourage people to try falling a lot early because if you're not afraid of falling, you'll do the moves in a way that will like help you
Yeah.
get them better or
I
whatever.
think having all the pads on really helps
Yeah.
me too, because I'm always afraid of falling.
That's
when
why I'm
I
always
skate.
surprised with parents who want to teach their kids to play hockey and they'll put them in skate Sam or whatever. And then it's just a helmet
Yeah.
and figure skates.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, if I were teaching my kid to skate, I'd want them in full pads.
Yeah. And when I like fell and hit my out, like nothing hurts.
Nothing
It
hurts.
just feels way better, and you slide. So
Right. So if you figure that out, then you're willing to like bend your legs more or
Yeah.
like angle your out, like use your outside edge a little bit more uncomfortably because if you get uncomfortable and fall, you're
Yeah.
fine. But if you don't, then you just figured out how to do it.
I did find it very comical how my off ice knowledge of hockey and my on ice like are so drastically different.
There's just no translation. That's the thing. I'm like, as a coach, I know so much, and then I get out on the ice and play, and I'm just like such an idiot. I don't think I'm in my right position ever.
Well, we went to the like chalk talk or whatever after, and they were like, "What is icing?" And I'm like, "Okay,
I
this
know
part."
this one.
Then she was like asking if anyone wanted to explain it, and I was like, "Yeah, I guess I like I know that stuff."
Yeah, well, that stuff's easy.
But
Once you're
Yeah.
on the ice, though, like translating literally where you are in the middle of play to like what the whiteboard with the rink on
Oh,
it with
gosh.
X's and O's looks like is like something for people who have brains
That
that
is
work
cool.
much more efficiently than mine.
that was cool. I like when she was talking about like positioning and stuff because I feel like I can see hockey as many times as I want, but I never know like the
What's the
internal-
point?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I played till, I mean, I'm still learning like what these X's and O's do. I just go out there and just do
Go for the puck.
what my brain
Yeah.
tells me to do, and it's been working. But like some people actually study this game and like
Yeah.
can go out and be in the right place at the right time because they're like able to read it and then translate it on ice. That'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy.
That would be just crazy. Well, I have nothing to do with the WHAM Development League.
Yeah,
other
well,
than
you should
supporting
come
from
and
afar.
because I've been busy.
Hey,
I have
on Thursday in like the 20th, the 19th,
19th.
we have an actual scrimmage.
This is
So
it. People are gonna score goals. It's gonna be it.
You might
Pretty
want to
sure
come
The
along.
fans.
Pretty
the
sure
pa-
we have combine that week.
No,
we-
it's the next week.
Yeah, we don't.
Is it?
Because I'm gone, so good luck. I don't know who's doing your video and stuff.
We are having we're having a meeting Monday. Got it? Wait, maybe Wednesday.
I can't.
I'm kind of
I
bugged.
can't on Monday.
We have NAIF next week.
We'll figure it out after.
We can't have any meetings next week.
Yeah,
but
we have NAIF next
I'm not going to
weekend.
be here for Nave. There's the silence.
Silence.
There's
Get
the
it?
silence.
Clip that, Kayla. Our faces, just our faces looking at Peter. Okay.
What are you doing on NAIF?
No, I'm gonna be there.
Guess what?
Oh, I thought you were I thought you were for real.
No,
I'm moving up. I am coaching Nave.
That does not.
That
okay.
doesn't help us, Jossie.
Hold on a damn second. That doesn't help anything.
That doesn't help.
That doesn't help anything.
Unless you're a 2011 Team Minnesota.
Then you're getting coached by the
but
GOAT.
I am coached by the GOAT. But
Another semifinal loss.
News flash, Cookson. It helps 2011 Team Minnesota. There are 60 other teams at the tournament that all need to know where the
and
bathrooms
you're
are and the
good at
drinking
that.
fountains are.
Okay, all right.
People love walking into the rink and seeing
A friendly
Jossie
Shiny
face.
Jossie teeth.
running
Got a
as
nice
fast as she can,
laugh.
holding a clear bucket that needs an aux cord, but
I've
she'll
got-
find one later.
It might be the trophy. It might be the clear bucket. It might be the walkie.
Are you available like other times when they're not playing?
Yeah.
I guess I'm probably going to be busy, like, working Nave and everything. Should I wear the purple pants?
Probably.
I think you should go full Grimace. I think
It's
you should
your-
just
it's
rent
your
a
look
Grimace
now.
costume.
I had those purple pants delivered to that hotel.
We can get a purple outfit for the tiger.
You know what I need is some purple shoes. Okay, yes,
you
the
go.
tiger needs a purple outfit, but we haven't bought the tiger yet.
Oh.
What?
I don't think we purchased the tiger.
That tiger outfit?
I don't think so.
I think we bought it.
I think that was rented.
Like it wouldn't be on a freaking wax statue
we
in
need
this
we need
building,
a
in this
statue
room.
right in the front. So it
Yeah,
looks like
wait.
it's like,
Just to circle back a little, we also moved. So, okay, we
Yeah.
recorded our 21st pod, which put us in the top 2% of
yep,
pods of
and
all
that
time.
was at the old office.
My typical self-sabotage is to, like, just about summit and then totally it up.
Quit,
Yeah,
just
and then
quit.
just bail. So,
How many? You're gonna have to use the bleep button a lot in post.
anyway, so I've tried as hard as I could to skip episode 22.
Okay.
But wait, you guys, you didn't even.
Yeah, we moved offices.
So
we had to
yeah,
set
so
up
then
all
Kayla
the
goes.
offices.
So then Kayla gets jury duty.
Jury
I got
duty.
jury duty.
So we move
2
offices.
full weeks.
We go to Denver. If you're me.
Yep.
I didn't. I was
You
like
went to
the
Denver.
one person from the
I
staff
also did not.
that did not
So
go to Denver.
Denver was.
But I had to make videos.
Yeah, send your
So-
shit to
Yeah, you
Kayla.
did.
Send everything to Kayla.
I would see those videos at the end of the day. They would be going up at like midnight.
At like 10:30. Yeah.
Cool.
I was getting all those videos. Like that was my first time. So I was coaching Nate.
Jossie got really good videos.
I was
I'm not
coaching
even
Nate in
kidding.
Denver,
Nice.
which again was super fun. It was my first coaching task and not coming to like just run the thing for 15 hours a
Oh,
day.
you were oh, duh. 'cause
I was
that's
there
why your
coaching.
Grimace outfit.
So it was like super fun because I got to like do the fun stuff. I got to go to like the team outings and like hang out with the parents in the party room. Like I got to have fun, except for the rest of the time when Tony be like, "I need you," and he was like, "By the way, you're the videographer for the weekend.
you have to do everything for
yeah,
you.
you are now doing our #1 marketing effort.
Hey, congratulations.
Congratulations.
You are now YHH's videographer."
Nice job.
So then that kind of now I've been practicing how to video things
It's working.
since then. But we get back from NAIF and we had something else. Oh,
We had the.
we were like at these
PWHL.
right?
Yep.
That's right.
We
were
also
like,
had the big one showcase.
Also, PWHL kept going when we thought it would end before the
there were like
Yeah.
there were like literally like 5 additional hockey games in overtimes
Yep.
in the last month in PW games. And then what did you just say? Yeah, we had
the
big one, which I
showcase
skipped.
in Lakeville.
I skipped for Faust Fest and I
I
became
did not skip it.
No,
I became the
I was there, too.
2025 Faust Fest
that was
champion.
in the middle of my jury duty. So
Team
that was
Red.
a long time ago.
Is it really?
Big one.
Wow.
It
I
was
thought
the weekend in between my jury duty.
I thought I had it bad driving to Lakeville every day.
Hey, Lakeville's good place.
It's not
It's so
as
funny because it's like not. It's like not. It's not as far as you think it is.
well. It's also all
Depends
so
on where you're going in Lakeville.
Yeah, but like Hasse is all the way
everything
south
is
in
just
Lakeville.
right off 35.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Coming
away.
from St. Paul, it's not too bad.
Unless
Yeah.
it's after 4 p.m.
Oh yeah, then
Well,
you're done for.
Considering now that at the new, I used to be able to get away with not taking 494 to the new office.
You can't anymore.
At the old office, I could take 94 to 35. Now you got to take 494, and anytime
Take
from
62.
from 2 p.m. until 7 p.m., 494 is an absolute gong show.
It's so bad.
It's awful. Take 62, you said?
Yeah,
you
try
can
62.
take 62 coming this way is always bad too. but going
Interesting.
back it's fine. So I've been taking 494 and then 62 back.
Or like cut over on 66th Street.
Or try
That's
to
a
go through the
secret.
freaking traffic in Minneapolis right now. You
No
should see how
thanks.
much construction is up by our
Oh
houses.
God.
Nah, fam.
Well, I've been heading up that way because I went to a couple of PW games. My kid's been bringing me to the Loons games.
Ooh.
We're
Really?
quickly becoming Loons fans.
Oh,
Those
you're
are
hanging
fun,
out
I've
at
heard.
Allianz, eh?
Those are fun.
Mac
It's
got
right by
himself.
your house, Peter.
Mac got himself an Uber, bought himself a ticket, and went and sat in the like rowdy fan section by himself.
And he loved it?
Loved it.
Oh, good.
That's amazing.
I was like, I was booked, and I couldn't go to the Loons game that night. And he was
Nice.
like, "You cool if I
I
go?"
I don't mind the Loons. I wish they brought more economically to the Snelling University area.
Wait a minute, 19,000 people.
yeah, I was gonna say I think
were in those
they got like
stands.
pretty good fans.
Yeah, but I have yet to see tangible evidence that that money is spilling out
Well,
of
whoever's
Allianz.
charging $50 a spot for parking is probably doing well.
It's where are they charging 50 to park though?
Anything like within the block. If it's like if you're in
it's probably
block?
like 25.
Oh, bro, go park at Target.
I parked
Or
at
walk.
Cub or whatever, like the old Home Depot. That was
Yeah.
$26.
Yeah.
You parked at the Midway Cub.
Yes.
That place. I have a friend who's a firefighter in St. Paul. He's got stories about that Midway Cub.
The Aldi that's right next to Allianz, literally when I went there was a car on their front lawn.
Yeah.
Like there's some weird stuff that happens in that area.
But don't worry, there's a big shiny loon on the corner, which is so cool. I hate that thing.
I'm not even worried about
I
that
think
area.
that's cool.
It's a monument to
I don't
It's
even
not
care.
like I'm thinking I'm gonna get hurt or something. It's just like weird stuff happens. You're like, why is there a car on the front lawn of the Aldi?
Things that you don't question. They're just that's life.
It's-
Say la vie.
say
Mofo.
Levi, just appreciate the boarded up windows at the CVS.
What could be worse? They could be not boarded up, and then you'd have the risk of getting glass on you if they were broken.
Yeah, I think there's a risk of glass either way. just based yeah, that's fine. We'll
Okay, so now
we'll
we've
debate
covered-
St. Paul.
You guys,
later.
now we've covered like 2 or 3 weeks of why we haven't.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
So-
and then the last week was
So
I
yeah,
don't
like
know.
volunteering. By the time we got to week 3, I got so
Okay.
used to not working. I basically summer
It's
started.
been a month and 2 weeks almost.
So it's
Did
been
we
6
record
weeks.
before Stars Tomorrow?
April 25th.
We
That was
were-
before Stars Tomorrow, wasn't it?
No, Stars and Tomorrow's in
Or was-
March.
Okay.
It's the weekend after.
So
the
basically,
youth
I just got
season.
so used to not working that I basically quit. And then summer started. Now I've been hanging out at my pool.
I've been doing draft stuff, and I'm really invested in my MVP baseball 2004 dynasty.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that's what I've been up to, and watching the PWHL
Yeah.
World Cup playoffs.
I'm driving teenagers to like wherever the F they want from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Nice.
It doesn't end.
Do you know how you stay awake and alert for all that driving?
Oh, tell me.
Dogwood Coffee. Shout out to our sponsor, Dogwood Coffee. We had to move everything out of the old office, which included probably 60 cans of Zamboni and Reckley cold brew. Those cans of cold brew are now gone because I've been hammering cold brew over the past.
I was gonna say, where's the evidence? There's no
the
cold brew.
past 6? Yeah, I've been drinking
My
it at
cup
home.
My cup runneth empty.
Your cup runneth
My
empty.
cup runneth empty.
Oh, you could go fill it up with water and pretend that there's coffee in there.
That's cool. I got coffee
But
here.
Is that part of the song?
Mm-hmm. My cup runneth over.
Oh, okay. I was
My
like,
cup
you
runneth
sang-
over.
Yeah.
Something already told you. But we love Dogwood Coffee. Thank you so much for being a sponsor. I'm sure we'll see you soon because we need a re-up on our cold brew.
Thanks for the green hat.
Walter Cup playoffs.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, Walter Cup playoffs.
Incredible.
How fun
segue.
was that? How fun. We just thought they were going to be over.
Okay,
and then
no,
all of a
like
sudden
how
they just
funny.
won.
That's the best part is like any of the teams that we actually put some weight behind, like Minnesotan teams, even like this might be our year.
Yeah.
And then the Frost was like, well, we just didn't pull it
That
off
wasn't
this
really
year.
great.
And then they come through for us.
I know, like Wild. They're like, oh, they're doing pretty good.
This might be their year. They're getting those injuries
the
back.
Timberwolves.
It's a totally
oh,
different team.
I was
So
pretty invested
good.
in the Wolves.
Yeah, and then nothing.
But
And
we
then
know the Wolves
Frost
aren't going to
win
make it
again.
past conference championships, right?
Ugh,
like
I
that's
know.
not new.
I thought they had a shot, but
I know. It was kind of just like, it was just like so disappointing that it was almost not disappointing. Because it was like, oh.
Yeah, they had a good run. They had a good run.
The Wolves are also
good.
so young that it's hard to imagine them not coming back. You know who's not young? The Minnesota Frost.
They've got some oldies.
They have some vets.
Well,
They got
like
some
Steckline
vets on that
got saved.
And she also did so well this season.
I think she had a huge confidence boost at Worlds
Yeah.
because she dominated on
Yeah.
the blue line and offensively for the Frost for the last month of their season. She was a huge
100%.
player.
So the Frost sneak into the playoffs as the number 4 seed after clinching a spot in the final regular season game of the season, an 8-1 win over Boston. Tell me if that sounds familiar, sneaking in as the 4 seed and then running the table.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say.
8-1
Wait a minute.
too.
Did we? But we didn't really sneak in as the 4 seed last year, did we?
We
Yeah,
were the
we
4
did.
seed last
We
year.
were
Didn't
the
they
4
choose
seed.
to play the? Didn't they
so-
choose to play us? Didn't Toronto choose us? Oh, okay.
Yes,
we were
they
for
did.
4th seed.
We were
okay.
4th. Yep. This year, though, they did not choose to play us. Montreal was the number 1
Chose-
seed, and
And
they
chose to play
Ottawa.
chose
Ottawa.
to play Ottawa
Yeah.
because they had a better. I think they had a better record against Ottawa.
Yeah. When I
don't
think
know if I'm
Ottawa,
right,
yeah, like there was just Ottawa was like not coming through, and then
And at the beginning of the season, Minnesota and Montreal were the top 2 for
yes,
like the whole
season.
season. So I think they were thinking, we might have a better shot.
And Ottawa never had offense all
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
They could not score, but they had Gwen Phillips, which
Yeah.
happened to work out for Ottawa. Ottawa upends the number 1 seed Montreal in 4 games to set up a Frost Charge final, and the Frost had virtually zero trouble with Toronto winning 3.
yeah.
But I would
Three
say
straight.
too though, like Steckline scoring. I mean, no trouble, and so there was just some players come out of the woodwork and step up their game big time during those series.
Offensively, I mean, they won 5-3, 7-5, and 4-3.
Offensively,
these were
exactly.
not
These were
small
like these
scores.
are a team that's generally got some low scoring
Yeah,
games.
normally it was like 1-1.
I think they did have one other like 8-goal game this season.
I think it was one where it was like 6-4 or something. Oh, it was 7-5 against Toronto.
In that
Okay.
middle game, yeah.
Yeah.
But the scores Minnesota-Toronto, they were so much larger than Ottawa and Montreal. Phillips only gave up 6 goals in the 4 games that they played in that series. She was gnarly.
I guess I think Minnesota fans came out though. I think the girls or like the women were pumped to play at the X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they also knew like last year losing that one.
Oh,
And
you know what?
then-
We all got to celebrate it like we were at the next game, which was the win. So it was kind of fun as a fan to like celebrate the win for 5 minutes
And then get it called back and
and then
lose.
go home without the win. And then
No, but I think like they wanted to win when they're like, because in Boston,
in home, yeah, it's
in
like
Boston,
not the same.
it was like, oh, they won, but like no one's cheering.
Yeah, we won, but now we're going back to
Then
a
they give
Holiday
the
Inn
MVP
Express
Did
to
they
hang
give the
out.
MVP to Gwen Phillips? Can we
Well,
address that?
let's
I
go through.
Do you want
love-
to get further
I
through?
loved the fanship of that though. Like everyone was cheering for her. I was
Let-
like, this is classic.
I don't. Not
Let's-
everyone. I was upstairs like
You're like, boo.
I was in the club level with my ticket. I just got like, wait, what?
Let's run through the
That would
series.
never happen at YHH. Never.
Let's run through the series first before Jossie complains about Gwen Phillips winning
Oh my gosh.
MVP.
the hardware.
All 4 games go to overtime. Ottawa wins game 1 2-1, and Minnesota rattles off 3 consecutive overtime wins,
Let's talk
all
about-
by
okay,
2-1 scores.
The first game though, or the second game though, was so entertaining. First of all, I was at Wham.
I was watching it through 2 glass
Yep.
windows, but
16 seconds left. Britta Curl tied it.
yes,
It was
and then
1-1.
scores.
Yeah.
Oh, and her shot, that goal that went
It was
in was
so
so
good.
effing
It
good.
was
That's
so
why we
good.
protect Britta
She
Curl.
was falling as she hit it. It was such a good goal.
Like she had to get body position on that and be able to
Yeah.
get that shot
it was
off.
a rebound. It was so good. It was so pretty.
That was why we protected. I'm surprised she wasn't in the first group of protections, but whatever. Okay.
I was highly surprised, not surprised that she wasn't in the first group. Well, we will get to that
Yeah, we'll get
as
to that.
well, 'cause
Whatever,
I
whatever.
think that's going to be a long topic here.
all of the scores were 2-1.
They were all
so many 2-1
they
games.
were all
Which is why I'm
2-1.
even more confused about why the opposing goaltender freaking wins MVP.
Probably 'cause
literally
she-
losing all
okay.
these games in OT,
Hold-
2-1.
Jossie, just hold on a second.
Come.
Hold
I'm
on
pissed.
a second. Katie Knoll, the third line of Katie Knoll, Clara Himlarova, and Liz Sheppers were out.
I thought they were a
freaking
fourth line.
Standing.
Yeah, they were good. Also,
Were
Are they
so
fourth
good.
line?
Can
They
we
rotated
call-
third and fourth.
we can
Noel-
also call out the fact that Liz Shepherd's has gotten both the game-winning goals
In the Walter Cup
the
finals?
Walter Cup finals.
Yeah, that
Last
girl's-
year she got it, and this year
Because she doesn't get a ton of points.
no, but she steps up.
Yeah.
She's also like I think she's got a lot more like go to her, and once it gets to that second overtime or first overtime,
She's still going. Other
going.
girls
Oh,
have
yeah.
nothing left, which I saw some of that. Some of our top players, literally, some of
Yeah.
our top players looked like they were playing in the old women's
Gassed.
league.
I think that was the 6th overtime game in a row.
It
so.
was like, okay, fine, but like I'm telling you, if the Oilers go into OT in the 4th game of this series and it looks like their top D is
Yeah.
dogging, it's going to be embarrassing. And that's what it looked like for the Frost.
Yeah.
So yes, they had, but that's why you train hard. That's why you take care of yourself, and that's why you got to be able to play in overtime in the Walter Cup finals.
That's what Paul Maurice said. I think it was last year. He was telling his team forecheck hard because by the time we get to Game 7, the opposing team's going to have nothing left.
Yeah.
So he's playing the long game and just hoping that the war of attrition kind of works out in his favor. Kayla, you were in the building for Games 3 and 4, correct?
Yep.
All right. What was the vibe like?
Really good. I feel like there was a lot of people there. Like the
whole lower
final,
bowl was full.
The final game had the second bowl too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was up in club.
Yeah, it was
Cool,
it was
cool,
a
cool.
really good
It was
turnout.
packed. It was
and
really
like people
packed.
stayed like
Wait,
for the
I didn't have to pay for parking
where'd you
What?
park?
on what day was the final? It was a Sunday, right?
was Monday.
Monday, Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Okay. You know when you're like coming up that really big hill right by the science parking ramp, and there's a little flat lot there.
Yeah.
So I always park there for a while. There, anytime I go to
I
X.
like that little lot.
Okay, first of all, the lot was like blocked, and it was just black tar. There was no like spaces.
Lines.
They just redone it.
Yeah.
And that was before I went into the game, but so this lot wasn't open, so there was some public parking like right on that street, and like randomly I found a spot and got in there, and then
Wow.
and then it said meters aren't enforced. It's a holiday.
Oh.
So I was like, this is the best day of my life. But then I came
Wow.
back after the game and they had painted the lot. They had like, the lot was like a totally different lot. I thought it was like delusional. Like, what's going on?
They thought while everybody's at the Frost game, we'll just
Yeah.
Let's paint
the
up this
parking
lot. Well, it was like 90 and beautiful, so it didn't matter that I had to park and walk. But
90 is not beautiful.
90 is too hot.
That's awful. I was driving home at that point.
Yeah, I wasn't
No,
the
I came back
biggest
Sunday
fan
night.
that was all happening on Memorial. I was like
That
supposed
was
to go up to
tough.
the cabin with my entire family, and I was like, not going.
That was tough.
now I got this hockey game to go to.
I gotta go.
We were in Jamestown for Lara's little sister's high school graduation,
Yeah.
which was held on Sunday afternoon at 2:00.
Before Memorial Day?
That seems like a weird time for your high
Yeah,
school
the,
graduation.
the principal also mispronounced her name, and she told him specifically it's Kira, and he pronounced it Kyra. Yeah, that
Also,
was-
what
You're
the
like, there's
heck?
34
Who
kids in the school.
pronounces
Bro.
Kira Kyra. There's no one named Kyra.
But like, how many kids are in that
It's not even a
graduating class?
name.
30?
200.
200. Okay, that's still like close to 30.
Well,
And the principal, she's a
Close to
senior. She's
30.
been in this school for 4 years.
That was
She doesn't know
her
name?
whole thing though, is that all of her activities are done like outside of the school. She does figure skating, which isn't done through the school, and she
You only know kids' names if they play sports.
at Jamestown High School. Yeah.
Well, she wasn't in Latin. She wasn't
Yeah,
in
I was gonna say.
She didn't went in
Also,
arts.
yeah, well, I feel like anything above 100, your principal does not know your name.
But
Unless you're like a troublemaker.
I feel like
I was
you
like, oh, my principal
should.
knew my name.
I feel like you should have a pronunciation sheet
You should. That's how.
because
like,
they
At
had
graduation.
they had kids in their class. Like one of the kids' names was Khadija,
Yeah.
and I believe she had a I'll put it this way, a non-North Dakotan sounding last name,
Yeah.
and he got that one right. I was kind of like, brother, why don't you
my-
just have a pronunciation sheet there?
my name was pronounced wrong in my graduation as well, and we had pronunciation sheets.
They pronounce it Franz.
Franz. And I had they give you a pronunciation sheet where you write it down phonetically,
Yeah.
and they still announced it wrong. And they didn't
Boo.
announce any of my awards. They just like
Aw.
skipped over me. My parents were pissed.
Kayla.
I would
Oh.
be so mad.
But we have 485 students, so I don't think
Good
they were really
Lord.
caring at that point.
No,
Yeah,
they're just
nobody
speed
cared.
running through the
Also,
announcements.
5 minutes ago, Sarah Nurse signed to Vancouver.
That was
Just
yesterday.
not
no, but
That was
she-
yesterday.
Oh,
Well,
5
they
minutes
might
ago, I
have just
got an
finalized
email.
it, but it was
Okay.
it was in the works last night.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Kennedy reported on it at like 11:15 at night, but they must not have actually fully signed.
In any case, I was happy to get home from North Dakota and watch the Walter Cup finals. So that worked out nicely for me. But yeah, over Memorial Day was kind of tough.
Not if you're a loser and you have no friends or parties or out of town invites. Then it was the perfect way to fill 6 hours on Memorial Day.
Did you want to come to Jamestown?
I didn't. I mean, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't
you-
know because you
did you
didn't
want-
invite me.
Well, we played wiffle ball as a family.
I'm invited to so few bonfires that I like the smoke in the air. I leave my windows open so that my shit smells like bonfires in the summer.
You smell a
Jesse's
bonfire.
a big fan of wildfires.
You smell a bonfire and you're kind of like, someone's going to invite me.
Whoever
This
has been,
time,
whoever
somebody's
smells
going to
like-
invite me over.
Whoever smells like bonfires has been somewhere cool. We
Somebody-
know that.
Somebody who has a fire pit, just invite Jossie.
Like, yeah, is that too much to ask?
I did go camping this weekend for the first time ever.
What?
What?
I've never slept
Wait,
in a
where
tent
did you
since I
camp?
was like 5.
Are you kidding me?
Where did you
I camped at Afton.
That sounds amazing. Was it fun?
It was very fun. I also had a panic attack. So
Why?
Because I have like really bad anxiety and I've never slept in a tent before. It wasn't about being in the woods. It was about being in a very small tent where there was no air movement.
Well, and yeah, like
And
you're
I
like
wasn't feeling very
losing
well.
carbon monoxide.
Yeah, and I like woke up and I was like immediately just went into like fight or flight. It was because I'm not good in it was also really humid, so like there was no air movement, and I was like,
This
I'm
isn't
stuck
this.
here.
I'm never getting
And
out.
then I
I'm
was also thinking
I
like,
am Tony last Friday in
you
the
have to
lunchroom.
like hike like a mile out. So I was thinking like first of all we didn't have our car there. Our friends drove us. So I was like I
screwed.
can't get out of here.
I'm stuck
It
here
was like-
forever.
You can't like go sleep in the car.
Yeah, it was like a trapping moment. I was like, oh my god.
You
Yeah, that
haven't
would be
been
tough.
camping since you were 5 years old. You live in Lakeville. Doesn't
We have
everybody
a
in Lakeville live
cabin.
in tents?
We have a cabin.
Oh.
Why would I go camping if I can go sleep in a bed at my cabin?
Because camping makes you appreciate the bed.
I actually really liked camping. I don't mind sleeping in a tent. I slept in a tent in my backyard.
I don't like sleeping in a tent during the summer. It gets too hot.
It was very hot.
And then I get just angry. Anywho. Back-to-back
Anywho.
Walter Cup champs. My one note here says, all that preseason drama, was it worth it?
Nobody mentioned it. Here's the thing. All of it's marketing.
I found
mean,
it really comical that Peter said when you guys went to that one game, Peter said he heard someone talking about like firing Ken Klee, and then
Yeah.
they won again.
So that's the
That's
thing.
what I'm
Are they going
saying.
to dump the GM now?
Yeah.
That seems to
Like,
work.
this is just so dumb.
yeah,
All the
fire the GM again. See if it works.
They win the championship last year, and then Darwitz is
Canned.
Is it officially fired? Or a mutual separation?
It was like one of these deals it's in one of these deals where it's like, let's just not talk about it. It'll go away. The narrative will write itself.
No longer part of the organization. Everybody has a shit fit over it.
Yeah.
Over the mutiny and the backstabbing and as if this isn't professional sports and this is like a high school homecoming court election. And they win it again. So I just want to know for everybody who's so animated and so angry on the Facebook.com, they just won the second one. So what are you going to bitch about now? Complain
that
about
we
now?
protected Britta Curl.
Well, that is the new hot button issue.
Okay, why? I heard the internet was dumping on Hillary Knight. Why?
Why?
I don't know. I was trying to do my research, but that all happened recently. But I guess over.
This is almost Gretzky to L.A. Like Hillary Knight going to an expansion franchise. She has name recognition.
Yeah.
She has pedigree. She has a
I think
resume.
people were shocked that she wasn't protected. I felt like that was more of the drama. I don't know what else was the drama.
Yeah, I wonder. Well,
There
I don't
should
know.
have
I
been
couldn't find
zero
out.
drama.
I couldn't find out.
I think people were just mad she wasn't protected. That's what I heard.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't remember who they protected, though.
Well, I can pull it up right now. I have the protected list. Let's put a bow on Walter Cup, though. You guys got any final thoughts on Walter Cup and being
the one
back-to-back
thing
champs?
What I think is so interesting about series games is that can you imagine planning that whole ceremony
Yeah.
and then just not having it happen? Like if they would have lost, it just
Oh.
goes to a fully different stadium.
You're awkwardly taking the plastic off the lockers and like getting all the champagne out of the room.
Well, it's like you plan like the whole ceremony. Like they're rolling out all these red carpets. They have all of this stuff planned to happen. All the confetti cannons and the smoke.
And because it's
And
overtime,
then it's
because
like,
it could just easily have gone the
it
other
just
way.
could
Yeah.
go the other way and nothing
But
happened.
also, I have
Kinda
no
crazy.
doubt in my mind that there would have been like some random Minnesota celebration prior to Ottawa's win
Yeah,
either
yeah.
way. But
Yeah.
we did skip over the MVP. You said we'd
Oh,
talk about
yeah.
it later, and then when we got to later,
Well,
then
I was
you
just
said
kind of
we were
I was
moving
just kind
on.
of hoping
He
that
didn't
you
want-
would
And
forget
this
about
is the
it.
story of my life.
Peter
So
didn't want you
I'm
to rant.
very sensitive to this sort of thing.
Okay.
I think she strongly deserved that, and I feel like
Okay.
everyone agreed.
Okay, I'm following along with Kayla.
Why?
Because
Why?
she was clearly the
Did you
best
see the
player
shots
for
on
Ottawa.
goal too?
She was clearly the best player.
The shots
for
on
Ottawa.
goal were crazy for her. She was over 30 in like every playoff game.
I know, but the playoff MVP.
It also
Like-
counts Montreal's games as well, because it's.
But that's the thing. Like, clearly the goaltender on the losing team played well. But you don't give the MVP to somebody on the winning team?
Who would you have given?
That,
it to?
I mean, honestly, I did spend half the game thinking, okay, if Curl scores, she gets it. If Heisey scores, she gets it. If Steckline scores, she gets it. You could have given it to Rooney. Like,
people were chanting.
how do you not
Rooney.
give it to fucking Rooney?
A lot of
That
people
girl
wanted
that got
Rooney.
it just let in 2 consecutive overtime goals. Exact
And
same
Rooney
goal.
didn't.
Exact same goal too. Same rebound. Same.
But
goal.
Rooney, I don't think she played in every single.
No, they
playoff
split
game.
their. I think
so
they
I
split.
think that was the issue. I think.
But
they
either
would've
way,
given it to her.
if you're saying, then just count the games she played and compare the stats, just like we do for POTY. Like, to me, that was some sort of marketing ploy or
To
like
me,
make people feel better ploy or something.
I do think it's weird too because in the past 2 years, have you looked at their awards yet for this year? Because there's not a lot of Frost players again.
No.
And we didn't have
When they just
like
announced
any
it.
winners last year.
Well, we don't have.
Well, we had Heisey was the
but
MVP.
that was not the postseason awards. Like we
no,
won like
right,
none of
right,
them.
right.
And then they didn't even
So we run into this sometimes at YHH tournaments where we're looking at who's going to be the MVP or who's going to win some award, and you're like, okay, there are 7 players on this one team that all are within a point or 2 of each other. How do you differentiate between those 7 players?
yeah.
I was on
because
board
it's
with
not
Phillips
just about
being the
points.
MVP.
It's like actually who's influencing the game, who's holding the puck, who's
But that's-
aggressively
Her
forechecking
save-
and causing
saying
turnovers.
What I'm
like,
saying is that's all subjective, though.
Her save percentage was for the playoffs was over a 9.5, and she played in all 8.
that's because it's women's hockey and nobody else shoot. And
There were she had 257 saves. In
she was
8
good.
games.
She
That's
was good, but
crazy.
she's the goal. She was the only goaltender on the Cinderella
next-
story losing
The
team.
Montreal,
Yeah, that
the
makes you the
next
most
highest.
valuable player.
Maddie
Not
Rooney.
true.
Maddie Rooney only saved 161 shots, and she saved 257.
Well, how many games did they each play?
Maddie Rooney played 5,
And how many did?
8.
So it's like almost double the games.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because she did so much. She did so much better.
She
than
was
the
But
next
again,
also-
I'm not just comparing.
even in save percentage.
I mean, even at the end of the day, even like Sheppers is more of the MVP with the game-winning goal than the goaltender that didn't save
But
it.
by that logic, you should just give the playoff MVP award to the forward from the winning team that has the most points.
Which most often happens because,
But
yeah,
I feel
frankly,
like that's not fair.
But I thought Phillips played well enough to earn the award.
I guess
Without Phillips, where does Ottawa end up?
Not even past the first round.
Are they the worst team in the league?
but that's the whole point.
No offense, Ottawa.
Here's the thing. The whole effing point is the same goes for the people on the winning team. Without so-and-so, did the winning team win? No.
Yes, because you can
Yes,
replace
for
player
sure.
A with player
You could
B.
replace Rooney with Hensley.
But you're not
too.
replacing Curl with her 2-goal win, a 16-seconder, and 1 in overtime.
Yeah,
But
you
somebody else
could
could have
win that game.
somebody
Step
else
up.
could have scored that
Katie
goal.
Noel could have scored that goal.
But the other goaltender for Ottawa could have made those saves.
No, she couldn't have.
No,
No
'cause
way.
They have a backup. We don't.
My whole point is that I thought it looked fishy when they announced Gwen Phillips for the MVP of the Walter Cup playoffs.
Connor McDavid was the Conn Smythe winner last year, and Edmonton lost.
And that was fucking weird. And you know what? He didn't go accept it, and nobody cared because he wasn't on the winning team.
He was so clearly the best player in the series.
And that would be great. I don't think Gwen Phillips was so clearly the best player
I
in
think
the
she
Ottawa
was.
in the playoffs.
I think she was.
But I think she was great. I think she is great. I think she's got a
All I'm hearing from you is you hate Gwen Phillips.
yeah.
You hate.
Well, as
That's
long
all
as you
I'm
got
hearing.
my message. As long as you got my message.
My
You
last
hate
note.
goalies. You hate people.
basically hate
who
hockey.
lose.
Yeah, like
You
losers
hate
suck.
losers.
You
None of
hate
them are my
the
friends.
city of Ottawa.
Classic.
Okay, wait a
You
minute.
hate Canada
Wait,
as a whole.
Wait, I did know that Carla McLeod, Ottawa's head coach, just got picked up for the 2026 team Ottawa. She
Let's go.
maintains her contract coaching. Sorry, not Ottawa. She's Czechia, Team Czechia. She's the Czechia Olympic coach for the women.
Maybe
and
she can get down
Denisa
to the bottom
Shishova.
of
I love her.
yeah.
why.
Because she was on the Whitecaps, and she's like I've literally eaten lunch with her, and she was like the nicest person.
She came to
enough ice
NAIF
this year.
She came to NAIF last year.
She's just like so nice.
Yeah, I think she's like an unsung hero. I think
she is too. She's very feisty.
Yeah.
Like the way she
she could have scored some of those OT goals.
She keeps the puck in the zone a lot.
She could have scored some of those OT goals. Well, anyway, so congrats, Carla, for because Czechia actually lost to Finland in the third place game in Czechia in their home rink or whatever. Like they were ahead 3-0 going into the third and lost like 4-1 or 4-3 or something. So I think there was some speculation that Carla, and also Ottawa was like 5th or 6th all season.
Yeah.
So there was some speculation going into the playoffs that
they might be looking for a change.
That Ottawa might be looking for a change.
That's
so anyway, Carla's come
Minnesota
through.
was at too.
Well, you can't have Ken Klee.
And I'm obviously partial and excited about Carla because she was in my freshman class at Wisconsin. So we go way back.
Did you play at Wisconsin?
Wait a minute.
It bums me out so much that I didn't play at a high level and that you played college hockey at Wisconsin.
Because he just knows like internally that you're better than him, at every stop.
I do.
It's good for your self-esteem to think positively about yourself.
It's part of the reason I'm so jealous of you. I just internalize this.
The problem is
he hates you.
He sees my
jealousy.
self-esteem.
I see
the self-esteem aura around me, and he's like, that.
Jesus.
Jossie just wants me to do more work.
Yeah, this is going to take
I don't
forever.
think you should clip it, you guys. Come on.
Do you know how many times you've said the F word today?
4.
Yeah, I think it was about 4.
So 4 or 12?
4 or 12. So
it's 4.
It was between 4
but
and 99.
we haven't even gotten to the expansion draft yet. So
I know. That's my next bullet.
Or Faustfest, guys. That's a double F word.
Why?
Faustfest? What are you saying?
Faustfest.
You don't know about Faustfest? Guys, I'm the champion.
Is it at the University of Wisconsin?
It is. little alumni 3-on-3 tournament.
Okay, I'm going to let you have the floor at the end so that you can extol the virtues of Faustfest.
I don't need to, you guys. We talk about it with Maddie Posick.
Right up there with the Walter Cup playoffs was Faustfest, hosted in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin.
Beautiful.
And our own Jossie Cookson, the GOAT, caught up with Maddie Posick.
All right, you guys, thank you. We are here in the Lynx locker room at Madison Ice Arena following the Faustfest with Wisconsin Badger alumni Maddie Posick. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you.
I'm excited to talk to you today. I know you're from Madison. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm from Stoughton, so like 20 minutes away.
Really close by. Okay, so you grew up here. You played hockey for Stoughton High School?
I played Stoughton youth hockey growing up, and then I played for the Madison Capitals for 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And then 5 years with the Badgers.
5 years with Wisconsin. Yep. And then I now currently play professionally in Sweden for Djurgården.
That's
Yes.
super exciting. So that was one of the reasons I'm really excited to talk to you because we talked a little bit last night at Babes, and you told me that you declared for the draft this year. And on the Women's Hockey Pod, we are really excited about the draft. We're excited about the PW. We're excited about all these things. And we have a lot of questions about what declaring for the draft looks like. But I do want to get to know you a little bit more and like how you ended up in Sweden. So what is the mind frame of a player who's graduating college in 2018?
2022.
2022. Okay. And then there's no PW. And how do you walk me through, if you will, what it looks like to graduate college without the prospects of a PW, and then have that as an option now, just a couple of years later?
Yeah. I feel like it was kind of a weird decision for me. I didn't know if I really wanted to play hockey after college. And then I just had this opportunity come up from an old teammate, Alexis Marman, and she's like, we're looking for Ds. You'd love Stockholm. You'd be with me and our other teammate, Brett. And I just thought, I don't want to regret not playing as long as my body can. So I kind of just went out on a whim, and I'm so glad that I did. I ended up signing a 2-year contract, which was super exciting. I had another teammate, Claudia Kepler, that had played in Sweden before, and she really liked it. I had Maddie Rolfus that played in Sweden, and she also liked it. And they said that it was just really good, like growing experience as a player, as a person. And during that time, there was the PHF, and the PWHPA. And so, but those weren't really on my radar at all. It was like I wanted to go and experience hockey outside of the U.S. And I'm so glad that I did. It was, it made me grow more as a person than like a lot of my college experiences, I would say.
Yeah, just a really unique kind of different experience.
Definitely.
And I think there's been many Badger alum before you who've gone to Sweden to play, just to continue playing hockey. Maybe they don't know what they want to do after hockey. And things look different these days, I think, for players that graduate. Some go transfer to a new school. Yeah. Graduate year somewhere new. I think Claudia did that, actually.
Yeah, she did her last year.
So Stockholm, Sweden sounds amazing. Actually, that's where Savannah Norcross went, and we were familiar with her. We interviewed her on one of our pods earlier this year. What is it like? Do you get a livable wage? Is it, I mean, other than the valuable experience you're getting, what would entice a player to go to Sweden besides their best friend?
There's a lot of things. First of all, the level of play is very high. On every team, there's multiple players that have played for like the Swedish, Finnish, Czech, German national teams. So the competition is very high. On top of that, you have foreign players from the US coming over, or in Canada, making the league that much higher. And now with the PWHL, a lot of the girls that are getting cut or not making teams are coming over. So the league is constantly growing, which is really exciting, and it makes everyone better. On top of that, living over there, not only is it cool to live in a different country, with different people, different backgrounds, different culture, whatever. I think that I have like the best setup because I'm living right in Stockholm. And Djurgården does pay me, so it's my full-time job. I only have a work permit to play hockey there, so I don't have a job on top of that.
Would you be allowed to have a job?
No, I'd have to get a different work permit.
Okay.
Like, yeah, altogether, which is totally fine. I walk around a lot. I read a lot of books. I bake a lot. I have a lot of friends in the area now. I walk dogs with one of my family friends that I have there. Brett and I, we explore a lot in the city. And then when we have downtimes, like it's a $50 flight to go to Norway or to Copenhagen or something like that. So if I have a long weekend, I can just go somewhere else, experience a completely different culture, not far away from me at all, which is really cool.
Yeah. Really cool. Okay, so thanks for sharing about that. But then the PW announces an expansion.
Yeah.
There's going to be 2 new teams. There's 46 roster spots, a completely different beast than last season as far as whether or not you want to play. Did you consider, have you entered the draft or declared for the draft before?
This is my first time. I just did. Yeah.
Okay. And now why didn't you in the last 2 seasons?
Well, I had a 2-year contract, 2022 to 2023, and then 2023 to 2024. And then I signed again. And I knew that I wanted to come back. I wasn't ready. I felt like I had more to develop. And that kind of just goes with my time at Wisconsin. I was a forward my entire career. And then my last year, we had a ton of injuries, and they asked if I could play D for like our last 14 games or something like that. And that's how I ended up playing D in Sweden. Is they're like, we want you to come over here, but we want you to play D. I was like, that's fine. That's totally okay.
A brand new position after post-college grad with 2 national championships.
And I'm like, okay.
No big deal.
Yeah. So yeah, the experience, not only, as a player, like I'm just growing so much and learning constantly, which is cool. But yeah, I didn't declare the last couple of years. I was like, I love Stockholm. I love Sweden. I love where I'm at. I love my teammates. And I feel like I have more to grow before I like come into the league. And so now after this last season, kind of where I'm at mentally, physically, I'm like, I think this is a good time to declare. And I'm very optimistic. No matter what, I'm very happy and excited for whatever happens next season. If I am drafted, if I'm not drafted, I know that I have different paths to go on. And like just the opportunities I'm just so grateful for. Because initially I was scared that this might be my last year, and I don't want it to be because, you know, my body feels good and I feel good and I love hockey and all this stuff. So yeah, I think it was just like timing wise for me that I was just waiting for a good time. And now I'm like, I think I just need to push out of my comfort zone and just go.
Yeah. So that's awesome. We were touching on that a little bit. We think that the timing of the announcement of the expansion and things like that really did impact whether a player made a change this year or next year, or that it really does change the flow of what the league will look like next year. What do you think, in your opinion, is the European League? Do you think that the level of play between the PWHL and the European League is Do you think the level is getting bigger between the two, or do you think the European League is really becoming a really good feeder program, like outside of the U.S. feeder program, better or worse than the WCHA will say?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. I mean, there's talent everywhere. And I think, honestly, where you are, like, your environment really impacts how you play. And I think that if a player has the opportunity to play overseas and be in a different environment with different coaches, a different language entirely, you're going to see a different style of play. That's just how it's going to work. And I think that can be very beneficial to players. And so if the SCHL becomes a feeder league, that would be really cool. Like, you get an experience, you get to travel, you get to become a pro before going to a different pro league or before experiencing, some of these players that went straight from college to this very talented league. I think that it's pretty cool. I'd say the caliber of play is very similar. It's different though because we have an Olympic-sized sheet.
Yeah.
So that makes the style of play very different.
Very different. Yeah. And they're changing most of the U.S. sheets that were Olympic to NHL back to NHL.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, what do you think will like set you separate or aside from some of the other people that are going to enter the draft this year and make you a desirable pick for one of the teams?
That's a great question. I think I honestly don't know. I don't know a ton about what's going to happen. I'm kind of just focused on like bringing my best effort. I just want to feel my best, and I know that my career at the Caps, at Wisconsin, even in Sweden, like, I have a lot of good people that I can rely on and support. And I just hope that I left like, a legacy or a memory on some of my teammates, and they can put in a good word for me too,
Yeah.
And
what is there, 16 or 17 Badgers in the PW right now?
Something crazy like that. Yeah.
So
And
you
I play with
got
a lot
some
of
good
them.
people out there looking out.
Yeah.
Okay, so what types of habits, what types of things is a player doing in the year or two leading up to declaring for the draft that makes you feel ready? Like, tell me a little bit about like, I don't need to know what you're doing on like Friday and Saturday night, but like food intake, sleep. Like, tell me what you're doing as far as taking care of your body as a whole, as an athlete.
One of the biggest things for me, actually, I started seeing a sports psychiatrist, a sports therapist. Yeah. So that really helped me this last season, and it's kind of helped with my trajectory forward, I guess. Like, just thinking about things as everything is temporary, right? Like, hockey is totally temporary. It's a beautiful sport. It's awesome. It's also heartbreaking. And like, at some point, I'm going to be done with it. And so I just want to be able to, give my all, not have any regrets. Mm-hmm. That was a big part of my mental focus. And then physically, like, I'm training every day. I'm doing a lot of conditioning, doing a lot of weightlifting. On ice stuff, I've kind of tapered off since the season ended, and I'll pick it back up. But important for my legs to rest.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to, now you've decided this is the year I'm going to declare. What does it even look like? Who do you call first? What do you, like, is there a website?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
There's a Google Doc, and if you fill it out, and it says your name, the organization that you were playing for, your coach's name, like if you have an agent, things like that, and you just submit it. And then I got an email like 2 weeks ago, and it was like, thank you for declaring for the draft. You'll hear more details. And that's all. And I'm like, that seems so simple. Like, it's so nerve-wracking. And then I was like,
so anticlimactic. What? And you have as much information as all the fans.
Yeah, I don't have that much. No.
Well, that makes it sound even more frightening.
I'm very nervous about it. I mean, again, it's
I
out of
love
my
your
comfort
attitude
zone.
though, that you're optimistic. I mean, I love that attitude. Like, that's the only place to be. That's the only place to be when you don't really know what's ahead of you. You don't have control of it. I heard Sims talking a little bit. It sounds like there's some things flying around in the league as far as what the expansion draft might look like, and then the PW draft for the 25-26 season will be June 24th in Ottawa.
Yes.
Okay, so will you be eligible to get picked up, do you think, in the expansion draft?
That is a fantastic question. I have no clue.
I know. Okay.
Those are things that I don't know.
So things that we're speculating. There's an expansion draft happening. It sounds like early June.
Yes.
Okay. And then there's been some things dialed in, maybe, that the players are aware of, and then it's all up in the air otherwise.
I actually have been learning all this weekend.
That's what I asked Sims, like, how do you know? Yeah. Are you on the committee?
She's literally on the board. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's telling me all this stuff. I'm like, you're in
How do
college.
you know all this? She's like, they're just talking. They're just talking.
Okay.
But so there's some speculation that Sims knows what she's talking about. If
Whatever.
if her aptitude for information is anything like her
Yeah.
ability to score
my
on
gosh.
breakaways, then we have all the answers.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, well, I am thrilled for you. I'm
Thank
really
you.
excited. I'm really happy that you're able to share. Well, not only for me, because I'm interested, but I think some of our viewers and listeners are also really interested in what this looks like. I mean, so few of us have a direct access to somebody who's thinking this way, who's living this way, who's got it on the brain, and we're just really close to the draft right now as we sit. But there's still some questions. So you've helped our listeners understand a little bit more, and we are super excited for you. We'll be cheering for you. We'll be watching the draft. And then maybe we can follow up with you. Maybe we can follow up with you after and find out what it's been like.
Yeah, I would love that.
Okay.
No, I'm super excited for the opportunity. And thanks for asking me. That made me feel really special. I'm excited.
Yay. Well, and meanwhile, we're here at Faust Fest. This is a really neat opportunity. This is your second Faust Fest?
Maybe my third.
Third Faust Fest. I know, it might be my third Faust Fest.
Yeah.
That's funny. So this is like typically me. I see you Friday. I'm like, have we met?
I know. I'm like, yes, we have. I think so.
We meet every year.
We re-meet, we hug.
Faust Fest is the annual Badger alumni 3-on-3 event. It's basically put on by Sharon Faust, formerly Sharon Cole from Bloomington Jefferson, Minnesota, state champion, all-state earner, Miss Hockey finalist, and her husband was involved in a tragic car accident. He served for the Madison Police Fire Department, and is not able to carry on in any of the roles that he had formerly. So this was created 3 years ago in an effort to raise some funds for the family of a first responder who'd been injured. And each year thereafter, we've been able to raise funds for a new family within the Madison Police or Fire Department who are in these circumstances. So what's your favorite Faust Fest memory?
Oh my gosh. There's so many. I feel like there's so many that happen at golf, and I'm always gone for golf or working.
You can't miss golf.
Oh my God.
You can't miss golf.
No, it's usually...
Or monks after golf is also usually pretty good.
So many pictures from last year. No, I would say, honestly, like seeing people in the locker room is probably the best part. Like just how the alumni interact is really cool, and it makes me really excited as being like a newer alumni, seeing how you guys have come together, you know, and like nothing has changed. Like the best parts of college are my teammates and the memories I've made with them. And so like thinking about that as like part of my future is just so exciting, and I love it. And then I love how you guys have kind of taken me under your wing. Like that makes me so happy. It's just hard not to smile when I'm
We're
here.
like Posick and Kepler came to the bar with us.
It was fun.
We're back to being relevant.
Yes. No, your stories were unbelievable. The pictures.
Okay, yeah, we got away with a lot more back then because there just wasn't immediate access to what you're doing currently. So you could do whatever you wanted without worry that either Coach Johnson would find out or whoever you didn't want to find out.
Yeah, so true.
Okay, so Faust Fest has been an awesome experience. We're going to continue with the Faust Fest on an annual basis moving forward. And we will see Maddie Posick again, hopefully in 2 months. Let's go like 2 months is about when you should know where you're headed.
I would say.
My watch thinks I'm working out still. Okay, again, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And good luck. Go Badgers.
Thank you so much. Go Dub.
All right, bullet point. Expansion draft. Minnesota initially protected Taylor Heisey, Kendall Coyne-Schofield, and Lee Steckline in that first round of protections. I felt that there were a lot of human beings, myself included, that didn't quite understand the rules of the protection, because in some places on the internet it said they protect 4 players. In some places it said 3+1, as if people are just supposed to know what that means.
But did you see the video they released? They did such a good job. It was
I agree.
such
The video
a good
was
informational video.
It came out just like a day or two ago.
It was so well made. Like, it made me understand everything.
From the Frost account?
Yeah, no, from PWHL.
Okay.
Jackson Jills might have even done it.
So smart.
Tessa
Like,
Bonham
the
done it.
animation and stuff was really good.
It was like a financial advisor's like marketing tool for a
Basically.
product. For
It
like
was really well made.
Yeah, like
'Cause
for
it
an
made it
annuity.
it was like for dummies, because I was looking at it and I was like, oh.
It was confusing. It was confusing. So obviously we did the interview with Maddie Posick back at the beginning of May, and there was very little information. So we've gotten more information about the expansion draft in the last 2 weeks, and then more information about the full draft in the last week or so. So since we spoke with Maddie and didn't have any information, they did release all this, and it was confusing, but it really had to do with whether or not they had contract eligibility left or not.
I think that was the most confusing part, at least for me.
If you were going to be a free agent this season, no matter what, you were not going to be eligible to be picked up in the expansion portion of the draft, which started on the 3rd, which is when all of the teams announced.
It started yesterday on the 4th. It was the 4th through the 8th.
Well, the 3rd is when they announced their protections.
They're protected.
Yes.
And then the 4th is the open signing window. The expansion teams can, in fact, sign any free agents during this period.
Yeah.
But they can also sign any of the non-protected players from any of the original 6 teams.
Yep.
And so we have seen some action. Minnesota was ravaged first.
2 in a row.
Which meant we got to protect our first. So
our 4th player.
Yeah. So to clarify for some people, once 2 players from your team are picked up and your roster is dwindled by 2, you get to protect another 4th player. And then that'll happen for each team. So Minnesota was the first team to have 2 players picked up, so the first team to announce their 4th protected player. Ottawa, I believe, just announced their 4th protected player.
Also, the part that I felt like I didn't know beforehand that I was confused about was every single team will have 4 players gone by the end of it.
Right.
Which I didn't know it was like.
It's something like everybody loses 4 until both Seattle and Vancouver have at least
12. Yep.
And then we will continue with the normal
if they don't have 12, they can just get added.
They get more
draft
from the
picks.
regular draft. Yep. They can pick up as many after. So
Claire Thompson signs.
So Claire Thompson goes right away. I mean, I think
I was not surprised.
They literally just started the clock.
She was so good on.
And now Claire Thompson was
Here's
coached
the deal, though.
by.
It's also.
What's her?
Yep, continue, because that's the biggest point here that I think people are missing.
She's the Vermont coach. They already had it. Princeton coach. They already had that lockdown. I talked to a Frost coach about that on Tuesday. She says we already know Claire's going. That's her coach, and they've already made the deal, and they're close and blah blah blah.
The coach for Vancouver.
The Vancouver coach just got hired from Princeton.
Kara Gardner-Maury.
That's kind of fun for her.
So it actually was they expected that.
Yep, and she signed a 1-year deal. And there's always the scuttlebutt around Thompson that she will go. We were talking about this earlier, that she will go be a doctor.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to impart upon people, and this applies to every expansion draft, especially since the NHL ruined expansion drafts with the Vegas Golden Knights a few years ago. There are so many side deals and handshake agreements that aren't on Twitter or Facebook that we just don't know about.
Yeah, for sure.
So chill, dude. There are so many deals that are quietly done.
There are probably people that don't want to go back to the Frost, and they're thinking, please don't protect me.
And there are also players that are like, you know what, I am too old to pack up and move to Vancouver. So, hey, Vancouver and Seattle, I'm just letting you know right now, if you draft me in the expansion draft, I'm not coming.
I'm not.
And Seattle,
I'm going to quit hockey.
But they don't have their contract. They don't have that option. But
if they're under contract.
But you'll see there were some retirements announced last week.
If they can retire if they're under contract.
I don't think you can get traded or picked up by another team and bail. That's the whole point.
Yes, you can.
Well, you can do that in any job.
Yeah, you can't you can't force people to work for you.
Yeah.
Tony.
You
feels like you can.
But if you make that phone call and you say, "Hey, I'm 30-something. I have 3 kids. My husband's here. He works for Target at HQ or something. We're not moving." Seattle and Vancouver are not going to say, "How dare you?" They're going to say, "Hey, thanks for the heads up."
Yeah,
right?
I feel
so
like
now
if you're the GM,
if
you're the GM and you're in these contract negotiations, you're not trying to force people to come play for you. Like you want people that want to come play for you.
And people so worried about Maddie Rooney possibly being off to Vancouver or Seattle. Maddie Rooney may have told Vancouver and Seattle, "Look, here's
what I think.
My whole family's here. I'm probably.
I feel like if you want to be a trailblazer, if you want to be one of these pioneers in this PW, suck it up. suck
you're
it
not-
the F up
yeah.
and go do what you need to do, because as this
That's
league
kinda what I was
grows and
thinking.
as this league becomes more typical, we're going to expect that from players. So don't create entitlement now. Yeah.
Well, I feel like
Pick
we
me.
don't know that there are entitlement to. That was just like a.
No, right. If you know somebody's like, my husband
not
works for
going-
Target and I don't want to split up with my husband, like, so I'm not going to go play hockey.
Hold on. Are you advocating for divorce?
No, I think she's advocating for your husband sucking it up and
And
moving
moving
with
to
you.
Seattle?
Because you know how many women are at home with babies
You
while
know
their
how many
NHL
women-
husbands are playing hockey?
know how many
no.
women
Hold on.
300 miles.
Hold on. No.
Husbands' jobs.
Nah, counterpoint to that for a second. How much money are PWHL players making?
30,000, baby.
You cannot tell me to quit my job at Target HQ that
Sorry.
pays me
Sorry. You
don't have
200
to
grand.
move.
If you are a pioneer player for a professional women's sports league of any, if you're making any money, I would move with you.
No, because 30
yeah, like support them. But second of all,
30,000
or just go get an apartment
If
like
you're-
men do.
$30,000 a
If
year
you're
is a
making
poverty wage.
$120,000 at a job, you can find a job in Seattle
Wait,
that'll
if
pay
you're-
you
no,
money.
if
What if
you're-
you can't though?
If you're
can.
Hillary Knight and you just signed with Seattle and you're heading out there to help grow that team, you're making six figures. You're not on a 38er.
Yeah,
If you're
that's
getting
Is
told,
she making six figures on the player contract, or is she making six figures
Yes.
based on the player
Yes.
contract
The
plus
top
a deal
3 year- the
with
top 3 year
CCM
contracts
plus
on
a
these
deal
teams-
with BioSteel?
okay, wait. First of all, they did just win. The Players Association did just win a big fight to have the players' salaries disclosed amongst each other. So not public, but now they actually have something to negotiate
Yeah.
based on. But those big players are making decent enough money salaries to justify the move.
Yeah.
And you're doing more than playing hockey right now. And suck it up. Do what a bunch of us have had to do for the last 25 years and suck it
I
up and
also feel
change in the
like
closet or whatever you got to do
Most
to make the sport
husbands
work
would
out.
be like, yeah, I'll move with you.
Or can we just get over
Professional
that? Like,
sports are so different than a regular job.
No, I'm not discounting the fact that it's a professional sport. I'm saying if I financially support our family with 4 kids and my wife says we need to move and she's making the salaries range from 35 to 80 and she's making $35,000 a
Hey,
year.
they're not picking up the players that are making.
yeah, I was saying,
35,000.
what I was trying to say was the 35K is irrelevant because you're not talking to players at 35K that are talking about moving their families. Those are the low hanging fruit that you're trying to get as a practice
Yeah.
player.
Seattle isn't picking up the fourth liners.
The
Are you
35,000.
sure?
They haven't yet.
Not yet.
They'll get enough draft picks that they don't need to pick off our bottom
Yeah.
8.
We can only hope. But I want to push back against that notion
also
that
can't
if you're a
'cause they only have
pioneer, if
4.
you want to be a pioneer, you have to go. That might not be an option for some of these families.
That's fine. They probably quit.
Whereas in the NHL,
I'm-
yeah, we can move. I'm going to make $6 million
don't move.
here.
We don't move. The wife and kids stay in the district and stay where their family and friends
And
are,
then they
and the
have to
husband
raise
goes
their
and gets
kids
a hotel
alone. Yeah.
or get a. But
they
it's
have
like
to-
for 5 months of the year.
But the
Get real.
but the
and when
NHL
they take a 2-week break every month.
But the NHL player's contract would be able to cover those expenses.
Okay,
The
but half these
PWHL player
women probably
contract will
raise
not.
their kids on their own anyways, let's be honest.
If
if
you're the
they're ma-
wife of an NHL player,
Yeah, like they're training all the time. Like,
Yeah,
you're probably raising
if
kids
the
alone
if the salary if
But
the
that's
salaries
my point. Like,
if the salaries were even comparable, it wouldn't be a discussion. You would move for your wife's job if the salaries were comparable.
No, I don't think that's true.
Well, you would at least let them move if the salaries were comparable.
I think that
my point is
if
that they
I
don't
was a
get
professional athlete, Jake would move with me even if he was making 100K.
my point is that the PWHL does not
Marry
pay their
that one.
players enough. Where I think it's
well,
not
yeah,
going
but
to be
that's
feasible
irrelevant
for some
until
of these families.
here's the problem. What you got to put the cart behind the horse. The girls don't get to wag the dog. The girls are at the tail wagging the dog right now. The girls need to set the league up.
give me another metaphor. Give me another metaphor.
The girls need to set the league up so
Horse
that
cart.
there's some money so that they can pay the players enough to justify moving their husbands.
In a perfect,
If you're in year 3 and the expansion draft just happened, suck it the F up
If
or quit.
you're
Because
in
you know what? I'd have played. I'd have gone anywhere
I
with
know, I
30K.
if in a perfect world we could all sacrifice money for principles,
No.
that would be great.
No,
but
no,
some
no.
of these families
There's-
won't be able to do it.
I also
But
don't
there's
think
players that
that's-
aren't getting
that's
picked
not-
up that could play.
And that's not what she means there. She's saying like people will they're still going to get paid the same amount of money if they live in Minnesota or if they live in Seattle. They are going to move because they want to play hockey.
They're trying to build the sport.
They're
trying to
trying to build
create
the sport.
the platform
They're not gonna
so
get
that
less
in
money.
25 years,
No, I'm not saying they're going to
everybody
get
out of the
less.
draft is making 6 figures.
If you're making 35 playing for the Frost, you'll make 35 playing for PWHL Vancouver. Agreed?
Yeah.
Is that enough to cover expenses for a family?
Oh, I think we went way off topic because first of all, most of these people do not have a lot of children.
Some of
There's
them
probably
do,
only
though.
10% are even married.
I think that literally 2 women on the Frost have children. 2 out of like 20.
Who? Coin and who?
I hope.
That's the only one I
Yeah,
know of.
Coin's the only one I
So-
know of.
My hope is that it makes financial sense for everybody because I agree with you. If this league is going to grow, there's sacrifices that are going to have to be made. I'm more upset that the PWHL players don't make enough where it's a done deal. Okay, we can go. We can make this work.
And that'll
Of
come.
course,
That
yeah.
will come. But it doesn't start with entitlement. It doesn't start with an attitude of me first.
And I don't think
It starts
any
with an
of us
attitude
know.
of
I don't
girls
think-
30 years younger than me first.
I don't think any of us know if there are any players in the league
That are
even
entitled.
being entitled. Like, we don't know that.
I have no idea if they're being entitled.
we
Wait.
don't know if any of them are acting like that. So
No,
this is
but
all
you kind of
theoretical.
assume they are.
I mean, I would also be a little bit wary of like being like, okay, I just gotta move to a place that I'm not used to. Like some of these people aren't from Minnesota. It would just be like a nerve thing. I feel like you
I
could
get that.
over it. You
Yeah,
could
I
over
get
it.
that, but I just feel like when we signed up to work for Tony, like we understand the risk.
That he's gonna ship us up to Seattle
In your case, maybe.
for a couple of years.
But like when you sign up for a job, you understand the inherent risk associated. And if you want to get yourself into the PWHL so that you can have your social media deals and your whatever, yes, there's an inherent risk associated with that.
That's-
And that is that you might get moved to some random town that you
Yeah.
don't give an F about and live there for minimum 1 year, maybe up to 2
Yeah.
or 3, and suck it up and live check to check or whatever.
I agree with you because I want the PWHL to function as a professional hockey
Yeah.
league,
An independent
as
entity.
opposed to what some of the Minnesota fans want it to function as, which is a mom and pop rinky dink. We play at the Richfield Ice Arena. No offense, Richfield Ice Arena. They want it to be so insular, but there are realities. You're right. There are realities in professional sports that you just have to accept.
Yeah.
Right. And right now, these women are the pioneers, and they're getting a lot of, first of all, it's easier for them than it will be for girls in the future to get these spots.
Yeah.
They are really soaking up the crest of a wave. And I say that because I feel like I did that same thing 20 years ago, coming through the expansion of girls hockey from boys hockey. And yes, there are inherent risks involved. You've sacrificed shit. There's things that suck, and you just do it so that someday there's a PWHL, and then someday there's a PWHL that has money.
Okay. I got another thing to say about expansion. Hillary Knight going to the West Coast is the best thing that could have happened for this league
Tell me why.
because she's one of the most marketable,
Yeah. People
most
will
recognizable.
Watch that team.
This is
Ask
this
They
is
love
big.
her.
This
Ask
is huge.
Michelle. She loves him.
I'm like, is Michelle? How many night jerseys do you think that Michelle's gonna get?
Be in Seattle.
She will.
She
No,
will.
you're right. Hillary Knight is probably the most popular player in U.S. history, and she just announced that she will not go for another Olympic run after this Winter Olympics.
So this is a little bit like this is her love letter to women's hockey. She's going to go help build
Yeah.
a franchise.
Out when she already did it in Boston.
Yeah, and my point
She
is
was their first signed player.
Boston doesn't need any more help being visible in the women's
No,
hockey
but
space.
Yeah.
Seattle does. But Seattle's going to crush. I mean, are you kidding me? Seattle's going to absolutely crush.
These
But
teams
they-
are.
I'm worried for the Kraken, to be honest.
My question is:
The Kraken might.
Are expansion teams? Guys know more about NHL history of expansion teams. Are expansion teams normally really good their first year? Because I feel like they're getting the cream of the crop.
Not until Vegas. Not until Vegas.
Do you want me to start yelling?
Peter, go.
They did a behind-the-scenes video on NHL Network when the Minnesota Wild and the Columbus Blue Jackets entered the league.
Yeah.
And Doug Risebrough and whoever the guy was, I think it was Doug McLean, who was the GM for Columbus, they were debating about players like Jim Dowd, Stacy Roost. The biggest name was Jeff Sanderson, who was nearing the end of his career. Jamie McLennan, Manny Fernandez, backup goaltenders on these teams.
Okay.
Up until the Vegas draft, expansion drafts were designed to make expansion teams not very good because they didn't want to hamper the teams that were already in the league. The NHL decided they were going to scrap that. They changed the rules. And Vegas also got really aggressive making those side deals and telling teams like, hey, we're going to come pick this guy off unless you want to give us a draft pick. So they ended up accumulating draft picks, which they then used to
that's
pick up
more
other players. But no, the Vegas draft was the first one that really threw everything on its axis off its axis. And now other leagues have noticed that.
Yeah.
The NHL, out of thin air, created a flagship franchise that achieves success on the ice and is one of the one of the unique game atmospheres in all of professional sports. The NHL did that out of thin fucking air. Yeah. Vegas doesn't have to struggle for 10 years before they're good. The NHL created a moneymaker, and if you think that the commissioners of Major League Baseball, National Basketball Association, and the NFL didn't look at that and think, okay, we need to reevaluate how we do expansion teams, especially when they start looking around the country and they look at the places that are growing and have money. Atlanta is a pipe dream for the NHL. Atlanta is always, they've had franchises twice, and now Atlanta is always the one that they're kind of circling around just because there's a mix of population and money and possible interest. But that was a very long-winded way of saying no. Expansion drafts were not always designed to help.
So do you think that this expansion draft is going to make these teams like really good right away?
Yes.
I think they're going to be competitive. I think they're going to be competitive.
I'm looking at some of these names coming off the board, and I'm like, oh my
like right
Nurse.
God.
Yeah, like there's already a top line.
Serdachny.
Yeah.
They did expect this. But here's the thing. This is a huge draft pool.
Yeah. So
coming in.
A bunch of people are going to get really good.
There's a draft class coming in that's going to be great. I mean, it's all working out, I think, the way it's supposed to. And I think those teams should come in and be competitive because in the women's sport,
they're going to die.
It won't make it. It won't work. It won't work if you don't let those teams come in strong as hell. And there's another huge draft year coming up next year because you've got Layla Edwards, got Abby Murphy, you've got, there's a couple of years of talent coming in that this league's going to be really, really, really strong. I think they'll be set up to maybe have another expansion in the next 2 to 3 years. And I don't mind it going this way.
I have to tell you this comment just because I find it really funny because comments are great. Boston Fleet posted like a salute to Hillary Knight for...
I bet we're thinking of the same comment.
It is literally, like, it made me like laugh because it's so aggressive. It's like basically you've led us with passion, with grace. It's like a super nice post. This person comments, she willfully chose to sign with another team while under contract as our captain. Traitor.
God,
it's so funny.
God forbid you expand the scope of the league.
I just love the women's hockey fans are like,
oh my gosh.
Like you can tell they're probably really good at things in like most of the facets of their life, but this is new for them. And they're just like the one in.
Yeah.
They just like want in. They're like, all right, we're hockey fans now. We're going to Twitter.
Are you talking about that person that was behind me and yelled, "Go blue team"?
Go blue team.
I was like, there are no
For
blue.
reference, the teams were red and purple.
But we need people who say things like "Go blue team."
Exactly.
But
then
they're
the ones who buy tickets.
The keyboard warriors, like the fresh hockey fan. The fresh hockey fan keyboard warriors are my absolute faves.
Keyboard warriors, if they're not actually going to games, buying merch, stuff like that, you're worthless.
Those are the angriest.
You're the scum of the earth.
They're the angriest and loudest, and those are the ones that I see because I hang out on X.
I hang out on. Yep, I hang out on Twitter and I hang out on Facebook, and the level of we can talk Brita Curl now. I think we've reached that point of the episode. The level of vitriol that so many of these people still have for Brita Curl.
It's growing. It's growing.
I don't think it's growing. I think it's pretty steady.
It's
the same people.
I got so mad watching them play, and every time she touched the puck, those jabronis would boo.
There are nobody. I've been to so many games, I haven't heard anyone booing
on the road.
Oh,
she gets booed on. She gets booed on the road.
That makes way more sense.
She gets booed on the road.
People in Minnesota do not boo her. Maybe they do online, but
and that's the thing. I love that.
They definitely do online.
Online, they bully her online, but yeah, the actual hockey, the ones that go to the hockey games, aren't
that
booing
are
her.
actual like, oh wow, she's good at hockey. And
Yeah,
not booing
some of
her.
these people are just like basically more like activist type attitude and just want to jump on a bandwagon and be kind of like
that are treating this league as if it's a hobby and not a professional business where you hire the
the
best
people that are good at
person.
hockey. Yeah.
well, or that the league is somehow the actual entity that's going to create the civil rights goal that we're looking for.
Or that the league should only be made up of a certain type of person.
Or that the league's fans should only be made up of certain types of people.
Yeah, there's that too.
But I think it's a small percentage of, or a small group of people, and I wonder if they bump from sport to sport or if they like have branched off from
I
other
think
sports.
people
Like
are
they
just
seem
angry.
organized. They seem
Yeah.
organized and they seem
I think there's
I don't think they're organized. I think they're very, very angry people that just like latch on to stuff
and I
Yeah,
think
like-
they
and
latched,
make it part of their personality.
they latched on to women's hockey in the beginning because women's hockey was for lack of a better term, was a safe space.
I think it's
for
well,
a
hockey is
lot
the
of
best
still
sport
is.
ever.
I think it still is.
And they feel as though that now that it's gone corporate, it's becoming a little. There's a little more of a welcome to the real world where money and talent talks, and we don't really care what your opinion is about the players on the actual team. Whereas before, in the what was it even called? NWHL, was that a real thing?
PWHPA,
The PHF.
the PHF.
PHF.
There's 6 names, and I don't remember. I don't know the
Yeah. I
timeline.
remember
I
all
don't
There
the
know
was the PWH.
which one was which.
PA
There
as
was
well,
when the
happening at the same time.
Whitecaps were kind of in their impetus. It felt very mom and pop. Very they want to see the same names over.
But
and
it
over
was,
again.
and it was run by a mom and
know.
pop group, and it was. I mean, it was run
but
by
now,
family. And
But
it was,
now we're a business.
right.
Now it's a
That's
business.
what made the PWHL the PWHL
I
was the
was-
difference between that mom and pop to the corporate.
So I was actually talking to someone about this because I think it's great how much it has grown even in the past 3 years. I've been at the championship 3 years in a row for the PHF and then 2 for the PWHL.
Sick.
And the PHF, when I went there, I was their team photographer and I was like behind the scenes, everything. There was no instruction for media. You literally got there. They told you where to stand, and that was it.
You've told horror stories
the
before about the
on-
last PHF
The
championship.
on ice celebration, literally, they were just like, "Yeah, just run on the ice through the door." Like I just ran onto the ice with my camera. There was they didn't even do they didn't do a handshake. They didn't have a presentation. They just gave them the cup. They didn't
But these girls were driving themselves in carpools of 5 and
not to that.
like to away games.
No, not for PHF at the end. They
No,
were
Maybe not
flying-
at the
they were
end.
flying commercial.
Yeah, a week before the end PWHL, but
yeah.
7, 8, 10 months
Yeah.
before, which isn't that long.
Well, yeah, like the year I was involved with the PHF, it was more formal. Like they got on commercial flights and that type of stuff, but it wasn't.
Right.
but I
like,
think
But a
that's
couple
still
of-
only for some series. There'd
couple
be a
of-
number of series that they'd carpool
maybe
5,
it's
6
also
cars,
just 'cause
and
Whitecaps had to go farther too.
Whitecaps always had to go farther,
And
but
at
they
least-
drive to plenty of those.
At least a couple of years before that PHF championship, women, were carpooling and driving.
Oh yeah.
So if
yeah.
for
That's what I meant, basically. Just within the past 3 years, it's grown
Yeah.
significantly.
So
the
for-
organization
Yeah.
of it is.
so for the people that
Yeah.
are yearning to go back, just be aware you can go back. It is possible. This league, if it doesn't get its legs, could fall apart and we can go back to playing at the Richfield
Yeah.
Ice Arena. But just remember that the women who have worked so hard to get to this point will now be cramming into somebody's Volkswagen Beetle to drive to Tucson
And
to play a
having-
barnstorming game. So you either get the money
Yeah.
and you go corporate and that means everybody can actually play, or you don't.
and there were probably 200 fans at this championship game.
And everybody was a mom, dad, aunt, uncle, cousin.
Everyone was
Yeah.
related for sure.
So
well, and
the,
they,
the
but
game-
they also
chose to
sold
hold it in
they-
Tempe.
yeah, that didn't help.
Oh, bad
the
choice.
sprawling metropolis of Tempe, Arizona.
Where none of the teams play. Yeah. I just thought it was really cool. I was like, this is it is so big. Like it felt like an organization that was like meaning to stay around and
Like a
be supportive of
like
their
a
athletes.
real
and-
professional
yeah.
hockey team.
It did. It does.
Well, there's some really good stats on the growth of the league in just the 2 years or 3, I guess, if you want to count that 1 year prior to the first puck drop. But On the PWHL.com website, there's a whole article about the growth, and it's significant. I mean, I think they're
this is
projecting.
fantastic.
They're really good at infographics.
That's right. Yeah, they've made it as easy as a retiree could read it.
Do we have any extra notes? I'm at the end of my legal pad here.
Were you going to talk about the transfer portal a little? Anything?
I have it
Is there
open,
anything
but
crazy?
there isn't.
Well,
anything.
Besides the Abby Murphy.
Yeah, Abby Murphy's going to stick around, I guess.
We should.
we kind of like mentioned it.
Did we?
Well, we said
You mentioned Abby Murphy's
she's coming to the draft next year.
Yes, yeah. She stayed at Minnesota.
I'm still
She's
reluctant.
still there.
I'm still reluctant to report that.
That it's for good.
Jossie wants a signed contract sent to her phone so she can confirm.
Yeah, when I see the contract signed, Boom May's picked up as a wait. So I do want to note yet another WOHO guest whose career's hitting its highest heights since being on our pod.
This is the launch pad.
Every coach that we've interviewed has been up for Coach of the Year, except for Boom May, who was just announced as the assistant coach for the U.S. Women's U18 national team.
Wow.
So again, coaches,
Come on our pod.
get yourselves our number.
I got a Hotmail account.
I don't make many outbound calls, but you could be on our pod if you call me.
I don't make many outbound calls.
I don't
I
make
don't know why
many
that sounded
outbound
so
calls.
funny to me.
Hit
I don't make many outbound calls.
hit Jossie up on Snapchat.
I'll mostly be at my pool, hanging around, trying not to work. But if you call me, I will come interview you.
That's all I got. That's all I got. You guys got anything else?
I just want to know basically what's your vision for the WOHO Po from now until
Also,
fall?
when is the draft happening?
It's later. It's the 24th, June 24th.
Oh, yeah,
so
it's
we
in the
will have an
middle.
episode. I mean, we're not just because we took 6 weeks off doesn't mean.
We should probably have one after the draft, and then
Well, I think we could have one next.
Look, if you're looking for me every week in between pool breaks, I'll come in and
should we
if
do a pod
there's
from the
some
pool?
news,
pod
that
from
is a
the
great
pool.
idea.
Pod.
We
So
call it
got
the
Oh.
Office North actually.
We got a boat pod. We got a pool pod.
We're gonna record from the Office North, which is my house.
Office North.
Is your house north of here?
It's a little north of here.
Okay.
Just a touch
Perfect.
north. And that's why we call it the Office North. But there's a pool there, so
Are we like in the It might make the cord situation.
no, there's
No.
there's electrical and there's
No, we're
tables
good. We're
and
good.
there's the table has a cover on it. So
Do you
that
have any
can
pool
see.
noodles? We can like string
There
the
Oh
cord.
my
are
God.
noodles.
Can we have guests at
Up
the
to
pool?
6
Up to
Up
6
to
guests?
6.
We really should just interview somebody at a pool.
with tacos.
From Taco Libre.
Yeah.
From Taco Libre.
Who are gonna
Can we
be our
also
new
get
sponsor.
nachos then? Because their cheese is
And
so
all
good.
we're gonna have Taco Libre be our sponsor, but all they have to do is give us like a weekly lunch.
Yeah, lengua
one
tacos.
lunch a week.
I want
Not
10.
lengua.
Did you not get you didn't get tongue. That's what happened. Yours got effed
Oh
up.
yeah.
I got lengua, and then Justin accidentally ate
Ate
one.
it.
Yes.
Was again
And
my
he was,
problem.
And he was kind of like, "That's not chicken."
What is that?
but I'll just eat it anyway.
He ate it anyway.
It's
and
tongue.
then-
I think my
Yeah.
only issue with my ex-boyfriend was half Mexican, and his dad was from Mexico, and he like made us like
lengua
This delicacy.
tacos.
such a good cook, like so good. But
Wow.
he made us lengua tacos once, and I was like, okay, it has good flavor. I think the thought that there are taste buds tasting.
You're tasting taste buds, tasting you.
Taste, the texture of the
Ugh.
taco is not ideal.
Okay, yeah, that was also my problem. That was the same day I screwed up Kayla's order, and like somehow I was just divvying up tacos. Like, I got majorly distracted that day. I will say, and I'll tell you guys off air.
You're giving Justin tongue taco.
I gave Justin the tongue taco
Which meant I had to eat
when
a
I was
chicken
the one that wanted tongue taco. Okay, sorry.
This is a bigger
Okay,
disaster
just click
than
the
Titanic.
click the music. Click the music. Click the.
Hey, there's no way around. On top of the mountain, I'm queen of the mountain.